Hey, it's Aaron, the Metal Theologian. It's kind of been a while. I've been kind of lazy. So we're going to get back to it here. It's been a few weeks, damn. I mean, I've been on other people's shows a little bit. It's kind of... Some of the shit I'm actually going to show, I think, is kind of informed by some of that stuff. Just adjusting this. Because, you know, I talk with people and it sort of puts me on different kicks and that, right? And I've sort of been in a different place, in a weird place fundamentally, because I feel like I'm sort of... between kicks, you know what I mean? I have a tendency to get onto one thing and like fixate on it. So I'm sort of coming off that whole like stoner doom thing and going back to like my usual meat and potatoes, which is like the metal. Check out this mug, by the way. Fucking graven image. Yeah, but I've been like looking for the cheesy shit. So like actually my new favorite cheesy record is I can't believe I'm showing this fucking thing. There's actually a little bit of a story about this. Okay, so this is my current favorite cheesy record, okay? Sunset Forgotten Kingdom. I think Merciful Metal will probably like this record because it has a lot of keyboards. And I think this is right up Chromie D's alley too because it's all kind of corny. And you know, here's the story actually. And I might as well tell this because it ties into something. I actually, this is kind of an expensive record normally, and I found it relatively cheap. And so I went, oh shit, I'm going to snap that thing up because I'll be able to lord it over Chromie D, and he'll be pissed because I have this record that's like a cheesy Chromie D record, and I don't even like it particularly, and like, I'll be able to go, haha, you know? Because it's still high school. I mean, that's why we make these fucking videos, right? Actually, it's not, because I really don't feel that way, and high school sucks. But that's another story. Anyway, so this thing's on the way, right? I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fucking awesome. And I don't hate this record. I never have. I always had a weird love-hate relationship with this thing, but I've recently decided I love it. Anyway, so I'm waiting for the thing to show up. The shipper's kind of taking a while. Thing happens. In the meantime, fucking Chromie drops, or actually Max, this kid drops his laptop that he does all his fucking work on and smashes it. So like, basically the channel's destroyed, and I'm like, well, fuck. It's really not going to be any fun to sort of go, hey, look at this record, ha, 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 you know, and he's fucking, like, decimated. Actually, worse than decimated. If you know what decimated really means, like, it's worse than 10% fucked, where Chromie is. So anyway, to introduce the topic. Chromie was basically Chromium Dioxide Radio. I assume you all know if you're watching my channel, because I still have more subs than him for now, but that's not going to hold for long. Anyway, he basically said the channel was going to be, that was just that, you know, because he couldn't afford to replace it, but he sort of got muscled into putting up a GoFundMe. And I'm going to try to remember to put a link in the bottom. If I fucking forget and you're one of the first people to comment, please let me know so I can fix that. I don't normally solicit that sort of thing, but this is actually important. And I'm kind of a shithead. So, anyway, there's a GoFundMe for it. It's actually doing really well, so if you go look at it, you won't feel too... And, you know, you just want to sort of leave a comment just so I'm sure you'd appreciate it too. But if you're interested in helping out too, I can't think of a better cause. I mean... He kind of joked about it in that video he just uploaded an hour or two ago with Max, so assuming you've seen that, that kind of sums it up. I mean, Chromie's a good cause. Anyway, right into this mix. Yeah, and shout out to Chromium Dioxide Radio in case that wasn't all it. And by the way, this record here, I'm going to throw this on for a minute. Okay, we're listening to Exalt, and I was going to hype Exalt a little bit too. This just came. This is a brand new reissue on Retroactive. It's one of the limited run vinyl ones. So I think these are still around though. Anyway, Exalt is some nobody Jesus band, like probably most Jesus bands from the time. But I don't really know much about him. Honestly, I kind of got suckered by that name. I mean... It's just so, you know. But between that and like record covers looking like this, like when I heard these were coming, Scott Waters told me, got to mention him in every video, right? Yeah, when Scott mentioned they were coming, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty much sold on those guys, dude. Fucking this one, the first one. But this thing just happened to arrive like just at the right time because like it has a little bit of that cheese going on in it, right? I mean, it's going to, because it's a Jesus record, right? I mean, when the chorus is forgiven, you know, that's, you kind of know what you're getting yourself up to. But the thing is, this is like a solid metal record, and it has like just a little bit of that sort of like cheese factor to sort of like keep me going, there's the cheese, that's what I'm in the mood for right now. But still delivers like a solid record from start to finish. So you just heard a little clip of it, and it's awesome. And I'd encourage you to get that one, because it's easier to find than this one. But we're going to listen to a little bit of Sunset right now. You know, every time I put on a new record, one of these videos, I think, okay, is this one going to get me a fucking, copyright claim or something like that? Hear that crunch at the beginning? That's because people pull the records out with their fingers like this. I know almost everyone does it, but that's what happens when your records get old. But listen to that synth, dude. Come on, fucking Thomas and Phil, you're all over this shit. Anyway, where was I going with all that shit? Oh yeah, I always wonder if this is going to be like one of the ones where I get a copyright claim on it, right? Well, listen to what a wimp that guy is. Jesus Christ. See, you look at this band, and like, I'm not like tough. Like, I'm fat. Like, I don't think I've ever worked out in my life. But you know something? I'll bet I could beat up any of those guys. Except maybe this guy. Oh wait, he's a singer, he sounds like that? Yeah, I could probably take him too. But look at that, man. Such a shitty criterion for bands. How many of them could I beat up? The answer realistically is 0, but whatever. The dead ones, if any of them are dead, I could probably take them in a fair fight. So good, dude. Okay, so anyway, someone from work sent me a fucking link to a YouTube video, and he stumped me with this one actually, so hats off to him. It's some Italian fuck. I don't even remember who the fucking actor was now, so this is gonna be a shitty story. Point is, he sent me the thing. I listened to it, about a 5 out of 10. It was interesting, but not really my cup of tea. I looked down, and it was like, what's copyright claim, right? You know how it lists it on YouTube, and it has every single song on there, right? So I go look it up. The only physical copy of it that I find for sale is going for $1,200. It's an original LP of it from like 1980 or something. Now, I'm not saying it's a $1,200 record, because there's a big difference between someone asking $1,200 and someone actually paying $1,200. But the point is, like, if you're gonna fucking do all these copyright claims, at least put a CD or something. I mean, seriously, man, there are people who like this shit enough. If someone cares enough about it to fucking claim it, or put that shit in Google's database or whatever, I know it's all automated, fucking put it out so someone can, like, buy it too, you know what I mean? Anyway, I bear no ill will towards Sunset if they claim this, especially because I fucking have been making fun of them. Although I have found, this is my latest thing that I found, is that if they put a copyright claim on your thing and try to like monetize it, if you dispute it and then demonetize it, which you can do if it's under dispute, then basically you're taking away all the money that they would have made off it, because all the money gets made the first couple of days, right? So if you dispute it and like take off those first 30 days just by demonetizing it, then you can tell them to fuck off. And if you're not monetizing your channel anyway, you're good to go, So, alright, so where does that leave us? We've talked about, I was going to say we've talked about 2 bad records. We've actually talked about 1 awesome record and 1 bad record, but I love it anyway. I want to do a feature on just bad records soon, I think. So, I mentioned that one of the recent streams I did sort of informed on what I was going to talk about, and that's fucking Manila Road, man. I mean, I feel like I've talked about Manila Road so much on this channel that, like, people have got to be sick of it. But going through all the records again on the live stream I did with Marty Worm and Alan from Let's Talk Metal a couple weeks ago, it really sort of reinforced in my mind, like, the phases they went through. Like, in my head, it's purely my interpretation, but it's like Manila Road sort of went through these phases. There was like the 70s phase, and then there was like the sort of middle phase there. Then there was like the classic 80s phase. Then there was like the thrash phase. And then there was like the going back and finding, sort of settling into the groove phase, which is sort of what came after that. And that sounds more sort of disparaging than I mean it to, but it's like after that, after... I really started with Atlantis Rising. Basically, when the group reformed, the records are pretty consistent. You know what I mean? Some were better than others. There's some different styles. It's not like they weren't experimenting with different things. But the Manila Road sound was really well-defined and concrete. You know what I mean? And you weren't going to find something like, Out of the Abyss, which is awesome, but feels like kind of an oddball, you know? Well, one of the interesting things... Actually, I was talking about this with someone recently. I've come around on this record, man. It took me longer to get into than some of them, but it's fucking fantastic. I don't think you'll ever find me saying a word against that record, but it's never been one of my favorites. But I just rediscovered that one coming out of the thing. But the other thing is that, really thanks to High Roller, I feel like that early period is better defined than it ever was before, okay? So, like... We had Invasion, right? I mean, this is very much sort of a 70s sounding record. I mean, even the picture on the original press, that looks more like 79 than, 84, I think. But, God. Anyway, I feel like, but with some of these other records, that whole sort of era has been fleshed out a little bit, and this is really a key record in that regard to me. It's After Midnight Live. I've been playing this like every day, man. The fucking songs on here, they're all thoughtful and kind of long, but they're not quite as drawn out as they are in the Mark of the Beast ones. You know what I mean? Where I've sort of ended up in my head is like the first phase is like these records plus the Underground demo. Then metal is kind of its own phase, because that's kind of the transition. And in a way, so is Mark of the Beast. But they're both kind of transitioning in different ways. Like, to put those two records together is kind of weird. I mean, really, the early record is these three plus Mark of the Beast. Dreams of Eschaton is the same record, but mine's Mark of the Beast, so that's what I call it. Anyway, I'm just finding... the Manila Road, like the very early Manila Road, like listening to these records over and over, even though I've been into them for so long, I keep hearing new shit in them. And with newer releases like this, I listen to this and hear new shit in it, and I go back and listen to the original records that I already had and hear new shit in those again. And it's just so awesome, man. Like, if I were going to make a list of my favorite records that have that sort of like, I was going to say 70s sound, but maybe it's as much a new wave of British heavy metal sound as anything else, you know what I mean? Because that was all kind of 70s too, you know? And coincidentally, actually, this box just happens to be sitting here because I was actually thinking I might bust out some 45s during this video. Just for grins, I'll show you this because it's a new arrival. It'll make Alan freak out. Fucking deny 45. But, yeah, man, so, like, I don't know, if you haven't listened to those records in a while, listen to them again. If you're, like, a thrasher, and, like, you got into Manila Road via Mystification, and you like Crystal Logic, and you like, Atlantis Rising, but you feel like, Underground is hard to relate to, maybe it's just not for you. But if you like this kind of stuff, I say this kind of stuff, I think about Sunset again. God, I'm so fucking... Because every fucking time, like, every time I, like, try to, like, formulate a sentence in a way that there's, like, a cadence to it, and, like, I'm building up to a point, they do something like that in the fucking song, and I'm distracted again. So I gotta say it's a great record for that reason, you know? Anyway, forgive my scatterbrainedness. I haven't made a video in a couple weeks. These early Manila Road records are awesome. If you like shit like Poobah, or maybe Sorcery is a bad example, but like any of those sort of like lesser known like late 70s bands, it's funny because Manila Road kind of towers over them in a way, but they were really, if you look at what they were doing at the same time, they were doing the exact same shit. They're just doing it really, really fucking well, you know? And yeah, just some remarkable records. So we're 15 minutes in. Here's my other current little mystery. So I played this a few times. I told you I've sort of been in this headspace, right? In fact, let me show a couple more records. I only showed a couple. I've been playing this one a lot. It's another Jesus one, another recent reissue. Originals are... I'm not going to find one realistically. Look at those guys. That's pretty much what it sounds like. Awesome record. Not too long. 6 songs and an intro, which is kind of great. You know, I'll take a good EP over a mediocre LP any day of the week. Here's another sort of new wave of British heavy metal comp that a lot of you probably have. It's not that obscure or rare, but it's just a fun listen. You know, it's like I held off on this record for a long time because I was like, man, I need to hear that fucking Stampede song. And first song was The Rods, really. But like, you listen to a record like this, and it's like Crocus with Bedside Radio. Fits right in there in the middle of side 2 between Praying Mantis and Lautrec, you know? It's, I just really like this record a lot. I love the like early Twisted Sister, the I'll Never Grow Up, which isn't exactly their best song, but man, they fucking deliver it so well. They convinced me anyway. And it was actually on the strength of this record that I bought my first Starfighters LP too, so I should probably pull that out too. Not the heaviest shit in the world by a long shot, but just fun, you know? So this one's been a little bit mysterious to me. This is sort of one of the lesser known new wave of British heavy metal comps from presumably the south of England. I think this is over actually. Yeah, I'll fire this guy up for a minute. What the hell? Anyway, it's funny because like they feature these bands, right? It has like these 5 shots. And it's sort of like, oh yeah, here are our local guys, right? But this one band kind of seems to get extra accolades for some reason that I absolutely can't fathom. And so I'm kind of trying to solve this mystery a little bit. Specifically, the band is Pravda. Okay? And I am not aware of Pravda having done anything but one song on this comp, which is already interesting because everyone else on this comp seems to have gotten 2 songs, but Pravda, they were so good, they only had to deliver 1, and they were going to get it on here first. It was going to be the fucking centerpiece of the fucking record, right? So let's check this shit out. Am I going to get a copyright claim for this? I doubt it, but you fucking never know. And it's actually funny when it's someone like Pravda, I just laugh, you know? When it's someone like Don Henley, well, it's never Don Henley on my videos. Because on the Metal Theologians channel, Don Henley can eat shit. And he could even before he turned into a YouTube prick. He's just a fucking piece of shit anyway, dude. Okay, so check this out. This is Pravda, right? Right in the middle. Okay, check this out. Clearly Pravda is like the band that we're pushing, you know? They're right in the middle. They get the first song, Mind's Eye. And these other guys, they're cool too, but Pravda's the big guys. They're all cool except Deuce, who chose to be one of like maybe 30 or 40 bands called Deuce that are out there. Actually, they're pretty good too. So anyway, I'm like, what the fuck? This isn't that special to me. I mean, if anything, this is one of the weaker songs on the record, okay? So what the fuck? Recorded at King Studios. Yeah, listen, this is so fucking wimpy, you know? I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, I like this, don't get me wrong, but this isn't like we had one Iron Maiden song for our fucking compilation of regional lesser knowns. It's like we had one Pravda song, you know? So the other guys all got 2 songs, I noticed, except for this band, Straight 6, who got 3. This might be easier to do if the bands didn't kind of blend together a little bit on the record, I'll be honest. But here's the other thing that I noticed, okay? So what's sort of going on here? Now, the keyboardist for Pravda, there's this guy named, this is a total fucking Bip Bop Boom video this has turned into, hasn't it? Subscribe to him if you're not already. So there's this guy named Ian Penman Dick, which is kind of a funny name, I think, who plays keyboards for Pravda. Well, that's interesting. Oh, check this out, though. Look at that. Who's that playing keyboards for Raising Cain? Well, I'll be damned. It's Ian Penman Dick. Or Penman Dick, sorry. Now, if you read the track list, at the very end, there's one band called Amadeus. And they didn't have a picture here. You'll note there are only 5 band shots here, right? Who the fuck is Amadeus? Well, I don't know, but I know the song Gray Sky was written by Ian Penman Dick. So I almost wonder if, like, Ian Penman Dick, like, had a band called Amadeus. Like, he had something recorded already. He had some friend who made a record. And he was like, hey man, you want to be on this record? Sort of like a Lars Ulrich with Metal Massacre situation. And the guy goes, oh, well, yeah, well, listen, I have this fucking song, this fucking Amadeus song, but it kind of sucks. You can have that, but let me put a band together real quick, too, and we'll do something awesome for you. And that band became Pravda, you know? Except the difference is Metallica got tacked on all the way at the end. They weren't like the fucking centerpiece of the first Metal Massacre, right? So maybe the analogy fails there. But yeah, Ian Penman Dick. If you're watching this video, salute. It's probably a lot more likely that you're not, though. So we'll just sit here and like enjoy your legacy by ourselves. It's really pretty good, isn't it? And for as much music as on this record, it sounds good too. Yeah, anyway, I show these regional comps from time to time. I mean, I've said a few times, probably enough times to piss people off, that if you're really into the new wave of British heavy metal, you're not going to get very far with LPs. You have to go to the 45s. The other thing you have to go for is the comps. And, that's why. Let's see if I can pull this off. Oh, there's no fucking way I can point to that. Well, maybe I can. Okay. Fuck. That cube right there. One down and one in. That's my comps. And those are mostly new wave of British heavy metal comps. I know they're not all as hard to find as Southern Comfort, obviously. You know, that's also where I have the fucking, Lead Weight and, what's the name of the one with the fist on the cover that you all have too? Brute Force. That's a classic, you know? But, yeah, that's where you gotta go, man. That's the new wave British heavy metal collection. Although, on that note, another one I pulled out, man. Is this Angel Witch. What the fuck is this fucking thing doing? My fucking phone did something weird. Okay. It's like trying to get me to do some advanced like camera shit that's like way beyond me or whatever. But this 70s tapes, it's funny, the first time I hyped this on Grown Man Record Night, I actually bought this in, I'm pretty sure it was at Hippo Records in Greensboro. So shout out to Hippo Records in Greensboro. But yeah, this has like the early shit on it. And, the Sorceress and White Witch appeared on the LP, right? So did Devil's Tower, but Extermination Day was on a comp. Flight 19 and Hades Paradise were on a single. Baphomet was on a comp. And there's different comps, too, you know? So you kind of had to pick up all these bits and pieces, and for my money, this is the best collection of it that's out there. I mean, I would have added a couple more songs to this if I were just going on the strength of it as an Angel Witch package. Speaking of Angel Witch, look at that. Gotta show something like that because you expect it from me, right? These actually aren't all that hard to find, though. Like this Luja 45 is totally worth seeking out. Now, if you leave me a comment and say, I looked for that fucking thing, it was $100, then I apologize in advance. But last time I went looking for it, for a fucking record of that thing's provenance, it's a pretty cheap record. And worth it. Alright, so that was Pravda, man. We just listened to their entire discography. Only I talked over it. What a dick, right? Alright. So I'm going to show one more record just because I want to. And then, how many things... Oh, hey, actually two. Here's another one that I fucking played recently, man. I had pulled out for the next metal kick I went on because I want to give it another chance. Because someone told me about this 4 months ago and it's been sitting here. Dude, I don't know, man. I just can't do it. This fucking band, I just don't like them, man. I mean, they're good. There's nothing wrong with them, you know? But I don't think I've ever sat down and listened to a record by Loudness and been like, fuck, man, this is awesome, you know? So I don't know, man. I can wax lyrical about bands from a lot of different countries, but Japan, I don't know, man. The fucking 70s, they had so much awesome shit going on, but I don't know, man. Maybe them in Norway were like hanging out at the same fucking bar. Japan and Norway like went to the same bar in 1980 and were drinking the bad shit, while the fucking guys in Sweden like were like, oh hey, I'm gonna have the good shit. You know what I mean? Had enough of that bad shit in the 70s. God, this has gotten convoluted. What I'm trying to say is, in the 70s, I think it's weird that Sweden was so much weaker than Norway. In the 80s, it flipped, and Sweden became way stronger than Norway. So Japanese was great in the 70s. Actually, this is Mexico. Japanese shit was generally pretty good in the 70s, but I feel like it got kind of watered down and wimpy in the 80s. Kind of a la Norway. So I was trying to make a joke, but kind of fell flat. So let's just talk about Vixit. Just talk about briefly, but this is another one I've been playing every day too, man. El Poder del Metal. You have to forgive my Spanish, but goddamn, this is a good record. And this is a new reissue, okay? I don't even know if there's a Discogs listing for this yet. But if you go looking for this, and it's like a $200 record, you don't have to pay that. There's a new reissue, man. It's fucking nice. It sounds great. It's even on colored vinyl. That's fucking fantastic, and probably a good place to start if you want to start like investigating some of this Latin American metal shit. Because a lot of it's a lot less accessible. I mean, like physically accessible than this. You know, Rata Blanca is at least as accessible as this as far as listening, but it's harder to find. So. Alright, well, I'll just leave it there for now, I think. So, one more little shout out to Chromie, though. As much as anything to remind me to fucking put that link down there, but... Yeah. Mr. Chromium Dioxide Radio is a big fan of this Orphan Allies record. And it's really kind of a turd, man. But I'm really kind of a fan, too. Especially because this guy, this fucking weird giant dude. But it's just awesome, man. Just fucking rocking and fun and kind of silly. Actually, probably not as cheesy as some of the shit we've been listening to, but kind of has that silliness going on, but like not too much where you can't just fucking love it. So, Orphan Allies is another winner. All right. Till next time. I won't wait another 3 weeks again, I promise. Thanks for watching.